Right, we are recording. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? As you can see, I am joined by the great Jan Aage Fjortoft. Jan, it's been a while since we spoke. How have you been?
I've been okay. I mean, we are all struggling with everything, getting darker and darker. But for every day it's getting darker, it's getting closer to the light. So I think that's got to be our attitude to the whole situation.
I absolutely love that positivity, and I absolutely love that. That's one of the most beautiful ways I've heard this pandemic described yet. There's always hope, Jan. There's always hope. Congratulations, by the way, on the new podcast. It's been going fantastically well. I've been paying attention, and you've got some great guests on there. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, especially I used it. I mean, I'm not as good as you and do it all the time, but I used it as a platform when needed, and especially in the transfer market, I tried to look after the deal I knew about, and there were a lot of deals I didn't know about, so I didn't get involved. But yeah, I've got good guests on, and it's been okay. And I do it with my son. My son is my technical advisor and also my co-host when that's good. And my son is in Scotland, so I kind of learn as I'm walking. I mean, he got it in his blood, but I have to learn it in my age.
I'm not even going to lie, Jan. I have an 8-year-old son, and he teaches me about stuff every day with regards to technology. Exactly. I won't lie to you. Look, I wanted to ask you firstly about Norway and the situation that we've seen recently, and what your thoughts are on international football taking place during this pandemic.
Well, first of all, I think we all we are in a country in Norway. We've been quite good at managing the situation. I mean, we have had deaths as well, but thank God we have managed to have it good under control in our country. So credit to the decision makers in the government and the health authorities. But it's interesting to discuss the football, because we started football again in Norway in May, and we'd had like unbelievable amount of games. We've had 11 people who have been affected, who have got a positive test, meaning, and 10 of them were outside the football pitch. So football, it's doing well. So, and I think that is one part to it. But I think that everybody, we got to get involved in this to make sure that there is also symbols here, and we can talk to health authorities, telling that it's no problem that we bring in all these players, all these teams around Europe, or in your case, or in some clubs' case, you're sending it to other continents as well, because we are still low on the number of people getting affected. Having said that, it's not that easy, because it's also something that there is a signal we are sending. We are sending signals that, yes, we can make our group work kind of bubble, and we survive on that. But the normal people, they have to go to work. The normal people will maybe be told not to go to work, lose money, and all those kind of things. So it's difficult. And then there is a third thing as well that I think is very important. We saw now in Norway, we were not allowed to go to Romania. Our health authorities told us that was not a good idea, so we couldn't go to Romania, play that game. Meaning that all the players who were together with one player in Norway who got in the national squad, who got affected, who got the virus, the rest of them had to go into quarantine. And that means for the game last night, Wednesday, against Austria, we had to put together a lot of Norwegians around Europe playing in good clubs, but that the most people haven't heard of. There were 13 people in that squad of 18 who had never had a cap before. And we had to put that together just to make sure that we went there. And it was a fabulous game. They gave it all. We were 1-0 up to the 94th minute. They were fighting. There was a spirit among them, was fantastic. So I think that we need football as well. I mean, you see the viewing numbers in Norway. We will nearly every fifth Norwegian watch that national game. So, and we see that with Premier League, we see that with the Bundesliga. So I think in dark times, you need a bit light in your daily life. And I think that we can still talk about football, that we can still getting annoyed, that we can still, through a transfer window, dreaming, hoping, begging that we get the players. I think that we need something to keep us going through these dark times.
We do, and football can certainly be a tool to unite people. We've seen that many, many times around the world. And what worries me was not just that we had international football, Jan, but how many games we had since the start of the season. You normally have 2 winter breaks. They've had to bring in a third one, obviously, because UEFA and FIFA are playing catch up with the game. So I just wonder what effect this will have. We've seen, obviously, Liverpool riddled with injuries at the minute, and it will happen to many other clubs around Europe as well. I just want to get your thoughts on the impact, as a former player yourself, this has on a player's body.
Well, historic scene, it's always been a power battle between FIFA, UEFA, and the big leagues, saying the Premiership, Premier League, the Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, and so on. There's always been a fight among them. I think COVID has kind of highlighted that problem, because now when dates are peeling up, UEFA and FIFA want to play their games. We are still on the card that we're going to travel fans and players around Europe for the Euros. I can't see that happening. Then we have a World Cup coming up in 2022. We're going to do Champions League, Euro League, Nation League, what they all call. So what I'm worried about, and I agree with Jurgen Klopp and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in being the front runners for that, is, I mean, we have to start thinking of the players. And I mean, the only argument can't be always that they're earning a lot of money, because these are not machines. These are not machines. This is not like a car that Lewis Hamilton put some gas on and he's on the road again. These are actually human beings. And like Liverpool now sending Firmino around the world, sending different players all around the world to do their duties. If they don't travel, the fans, the national teams, the inhabitants of their home country, they would say they are traitors. So they are, and I've been in that situation between club and national team. It's always difficult to find a way. And now with all the games coming up, and the game's getting quicker and quicker as well. You need so much strength. You need so much power. You need so much energy. But the problem is with Klopp and Solskjaer, it's a bit too late now to say it for this season. You just have to make sure that your clubs try to get people involved in the decision making, not leaving them all to the old grumpy men, because they're all white men who do this, sitting somewhere in Europe in the posh hotels. And it's not only a cliche, because I've seen that. So we need to get football thinking people into the decision making arenas. And I think that is the main thing for Jurgen Klopp and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to tell Woodward, Edwards, Glazers, or whoever. You have to tell them that if we're going to change our game, that we have to protect our players. We need to have our people into the arenas where the decision makers are.
One more aspect to this before we move on to the good stuff, the Erling Haaland of this world and the good stuff. But we all want to talk about transfers. But you've touched on Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and the decisions that they make. The Premier League is one of the few leagues in Europe that haven't implemented the 5 substitute rule for this season. And we see now the Championship clubs are going to bring that in from November, I think, or the end of November onwards. What are your thoughts on the Premier League choosing to stick with the 3 substitutions?
Well, I think that could be one of the solutions to keep the players better equipped to take all the dates, all the games coming up. I can understand that when they're voting, if there was a voting, that you can understand that the likes of Burnley, Aston Villa, Brighton, Crystal Palace, they will think that the big clubs will have then another advantage, because sometimes we are talking a lot about the starting 11 of clubs, but I think you have to make sure that you are very much aware of what kind of alternatives they have on the bench. Mind you, if you can substitute 5 players, you can substitute all your half of your field players, taking the keeper then away. So I can understand where they came from when they made that decision, but I think that on a short term, that seemed to be the only solution, because slowly now you're seeing so many players getting injured, and you're also seeing the injuries they're getting. I mean, very, very unfortunate what happened to Van Dijk. Things like that, unfortunately, can happen. That is nothing to do with number of games, but you see like the other players who go down, like Henderson now, if we're talking about Liverpool, they're like these things that are just happening because you are traveling, you are training, different environments, different way of playing, different demands from the managers and so on. And that is very unfortunate as well. And I think that could be solved by the 5 substitutes, or the 5 subs. So hopefully they can change that, because I think there's no time to shout a great warning about the health of the football players.
Yeah, it's difficult. And when players are traveling, like you've said, we don't think of things as mere mortals, like how traveling with dehydrated player and that would affect their muscles, which then, as you said, competitive games could lead to repetitive strain and injury. And this is why we have sports science departments these days. And I don't know what it was like when you were coming through playing, Jan, but I can guess that these days it's a lot more high tech than certainly when I was playing football when I was younger. And I don't want to say that we're around the same age, but I don't think I'm too far behind you at this point. I think I'm not too far. I wanted to get your thoughts on something that the Salzburg sporting director, Christopher Freund, said about Erling Haaland, whose name I always feel so self-conscious about when I'm speaking to yourself because I know I'm mispronouncing it. But he did say that he expects, or he wouldn't be surprised if young Haaland pops up at Liverpool next. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Erling Haaland has just signed. I think it seems like he's been there for ages. I mean, if we check, he's been there for 10 months at Borussia Dortmund. And so I don't think he will leave now. I expect Erling Haaland to stay for at least out this season and another season, because one of the reasons he went to Dortmund was because he wanted to be by the yellow wall. He wanted to play for the 81,000 people, the biggest average, by the way, by a football club in whole Europe, which is a good answer on a quiz. But so I can't see him moving now, but the guy is still 20, and we are very proud, all Norwegians, of course, that at the moment we've got one of the best strikers around. But I can see him playing in England at some stage. But what we have learned from his team, the people around him, Alfie Haaland, who you know from English football, is that he's always looking for places to develop. Can he develop in Liverpool? Of course he can. Will Jurgen Klopp be there in 1.5 years? We don't know. So the reason I'm saying that is that at the time when he will leave Dortmund, at some stage he will, of course, then I guess all the football clubs in Europe, the big clubs, will be after him. But it's so hard to say now which clubs would be more attractive. I think that my mate at Salzburg, who is a very good guy, he tried to be very polite and said, I can see him ending up in Liverpool because I think that he got a good connection to Liverpool when they played in the Champions League, and he thought that he would fit the bill at Liverpool as well. But Erling Haaland, he would fit everywhere because he's a modern number 9. He's not only a great player and a great talent, he also got some skills and got some attitude around him that is not a lot of. And the number 9 player is been kind of they come back. It's been a comeback of the number 9s now. We've had times when Guardiola and some other managers played even without strikers, but lately we've seen slowly that they're coming back to number 9s, and so he will be very attractive. And do I think he will end up in England? I'm certainly will. You will hold your ears, but he's born in Leeds, but I don't think he'll go to Leeds United. He will go to one of the big clubs, and we'll see from there. A lot of the Manchester United fans hoped, of course, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would bring his old pupil back, and do mind you, they tried very hard to get him, but his team chose to go to where he could develop best at the moment. And at the moment, I think Erling Haaland is the perfect place for his stage in his career.
We did speak previously about you told me that Holland had always wanted to play in the Bundesliga. It was part of the path that he's seen of his progression moving forward. And you're right, he is in a fantastic club now in Borussia Dortmund. Who wouldn't want to play in front of the yellow wall? I mean, I've got to be honest about that. It's a magnificent sight. And he's in the right place for his development. As you said, we are hearing that next year, and I'm talking summer of 2022, that the following year, there is a release clause in Haaland's contract that would see him available for, I think, 75 million euro. That was denied by Dortmund that it was available for the 2021 summer, but what we are hearing is that there is one in there. Can you give us any light on that one?
Well, as you know, that Alfie Haaland, his father, is a teammate of mine, a good friend of mine, and we never discuss money. And if we discuss money, I would never have talked about that. I can just say that in Germany, there are much more clauses than there are in other countries. If and when I just saw that the CEO Watzke of Dortmund said there is no clause for 2021, and I mean, always the devil lies in the details. So what we understand, and I say it based not on the team Holland, but based on the information elsewhere, is that, like you said, it could be in 2022. Thinking of the race that was around Sancho this summer, look forward to the big race to get Erling Haaland when that time's come. Sancho could be on the cards again next summer. I don't think they will let him go in January. I think Dortmund wants to show that they are a real contender for the different trophies, so I can see him going. So I think we can see a Sancho summer 21 and a Haaland summer 2022. And where he will end up, I have no idea.
We may even go Jude Bellingham in summer 2023 if this continues to go.
Exactly.
I mean, you've got to give it to Dortmund.
And Reina 2024 and Mukuku 2025, and then we have the all yellow and black kind of years.
Gio Reyna is somebody actually that excites a lot of Liverpool fans. We heard that Liverpool had sent scouts to watch him. Obviously, he's only breaking through, still very, very young. He's definitely somebody that I think a lot of fans around Europe will be keeping an eye on. Dortmund's recruitment policy is second to none when it comes to bringing in younger players, and we all wait with bated breath to see what happens with young Erling Haaland's career. One player I wanted to ask you about, another player in demand, a player that I know you've got good connections in Germany as well, and that's Dayot Upamecano. Now, we're hearing that, of course, Manchester United were interested in him. We're hearing that Liverpool are interested in him. But we also can't rule out Bayern Munich, apparently. If David Alaba is to move on, if he does leave in January or at the end of the season, there's been talk that maybe Bayern Munich would make a move for, I think Ralph Rangnick came out recently and spoke that he could see, he knows Upamecano's family, and he could easily see how we could end up in Munich. What's your thoughts on Upamecano and the latest on him?
Well, in Germany, every player will be linked to Bayern Munich, because Bayern Munich over the years has always tried to get the best players in Germany, and sometimes they have missed out on players when they moved. I'm talking about an Özil who went out when he wasn't at his best. He just came and went abroad. So they try to be aware of everybody who are available. Upamecano got a contract. He resigned the contract, extended his contract with a clause, a quite low clause. I think it was just around 42 million euros or something. Is a quite decent low fee in these days. And not only that, I mean, there are demands of centre halves. People are desperate to get centre halves. Upamecano is a great player. He's a good player. He sometimes loses his head a bit, as we saw when he played Manchester United. I mean, that did something to his reputation. But I don't think he will move on in January. I mean, Liverpool will be desperate to do a great winter transfer like they normally do. One of the few clubs who manage to do that. But I can't see them letting him go, because RB Leipzig got ambitions on for themselves. So I can see him. He's one of the contender in summer, and the market is dried up. There is not many young, talented centre halves yet. Bayern Munich could be in for him, but I think that I can't believe that. Okay, Alaba is now 28 or something. Alaba. The good thing about Alaba is that, first of all, he's a left foot, which is always good, because there are not many great left foot left in the game. And secondly, you get three players. You get a player who can play left back. He can centre half, and for his national team, he plays in the number 6, number 8 positions. You get three players in one. You get a player who is a fantastic attitude, one of the nicest men in the circus. I've interviewed him a lot of times. This is a good guy, an Austrian guy, and I think that he could be the kind of secret thing that maybe somehow could be able to leave in January, seeing that Bayern Munich still, they say, we will keep him till the end. We will then we'll lose him for free. But I think that he could be tempted away. I think that depends on how fit the other players are. Remember, they bought Hernandez from Spain for 75 million euro. He hasn't been a great success, but still slowly he's getting there. Pavard, they got him from Stuttgart, the world champion. He's slowly getting in there. And if they're going to leave Boateng as well, Boateng was told now that he won't be getting a new contract, but they will keep him to the summer. So maybe Alaba could be the kind of secret player that could end up in. Where do I think he will end up? He could go to Liverpool, of course, because Jurgen Klopp is there. Liverpool need a centre half. Liverpool need that kind of flexible player. Every club does. But I can see that every German-based player would love to play for Klopp. And then in Manchester City, you got his favorite coach, Pep Guardiola, who had him, of course, at Bayern Munich. But this could be the big player in the January window.
He's only his favourite coach because he hasn't played for Jurgen Klopp yet, yeah, and we all know that. Once you play for Jurgen Klopp, he's your favourite coach. And look, talking about Jurgen Klopp,
I think it's a very sometimes it's a very underestimated point, because I think that players, they talk among themselves, they speak to this one, and he said this one. So I think that is this attraction to play for Jurgen Klopp is one of the strengths of Liverpool Football Club. They have players who they want to play there. They want to have them there. And remember back in the days when I interviewed Timo Werner about it, and he was like doing a love message to Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool. So players want to play for him, and I think that is a great strength for Klopp, and it's a great strength for Liverpool, because I think a lot of players get attracted also to play at Anfield, play in front of the cup. And when we compare that with Manchester City is a great club as well, but they don't have that tradition. They don't have that stand. They don't have those kind of fans. And sometimes in the big market, that is a bit underestimated, because players, they talk among themselves.
Yeah, and I've no doubt that Thiago looked into Jurgen Klopp in Liverpool before making that move and got glowing reports on what it's like to come and play. And I'm very much looking forward to finally getting to see Thiago in a Liverpool shirt properly when he gets back after that challenge from Richarlison. But before I let you go, Jan, I wanted to just have a quick chat about Jurgen Klopp. And we've seen that Joachim Löw hasn't exactly been the darling of the media very recently after that performance. And look, Liverpool got beaten badly by Aston Villa. It happens to the greats occasionally. And we've seen, obviously, Spain beat Germany 6-0. I have a feeling that Klopp would like to manage Germany one day, but I do not think it's going to be anytime soon. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that, just to reassure us Reds.
Yeah, I knew you would be afraid of that, because Jurgen Klopp will be the manager of Germany, but not now. There is no way I can see it. Yes, you can compare the big German side with the big Liverpool side, but there is a big difference, because the Germany has been getting worse and worse since 2014 when they won the World Cup. Joachim Löw has not managed to develop his country. He's developed his national team. They were a disaster in Russia in 2018. He wanted to start all over again, taking out Hummels, Boateng, maybe the two best defenders he had available because of age. He wanted to change, fair enough, but then you need result. And then he wanted to take, or he did take out Thomas Müller, maybe one of the best players around in terms of assists and goals, and how important he is for a team atmosphere. He would have been brilliant as a glue for the German national team. I think that Oliver Bierhoff, you remember the old striker who played for AC Milan, he played for different clubs in Europe and Germany as well, that he is his boss, and he has said that he will stay on. But as I do say for a lot of managers, sometimes it's not the decisions makers who will fire people. It's the people around, the media, the fans, and all that. And I think there is some different managers in the football industry that are happy that there are no fans in the stadium, because if the German fans at the moment would have voted, as you can do in a stadium, by screaming and booing and do whatever you want, Joachim Löw would be out. I can see Hummels coming back in the national team. I think that could be one of the comebacks in the new year, because the Bayern, I'm not saying mafia, but the Bayern team and power, they will kind of say that he should be. And Thomas Müller is that kind of player who can change it around for him. At the moment, he's nominating players, and I mean, I try to call myself an expert in German football, and sometimes I have to Google the players he comes up with. So I think that he should go back to the steady Eddie. There is a Euro coming up in 2021, and if Germany fails there, he's 100% gone. But I think he will be gone anyway, and I'm not sure that Joachim Löw will be the coach of the national team. The candidates, because they don't think they will get Klopp now. They think that he has business to do at Liverpool. So it could be a Ralf Rangnick, who was by RB Leipzig. Someone had talked about Arsene Wenger doing it till the summer as well, because he speaks German. He's from Strasbourg, not far from Germany. And Stefan Kuntz could be a surprise, because Stefan Kuntz, who used to be a striker for Germany, was doing a good job for the under 21-19 national teams in Germany.
Brilliant. Jan Aage Fjortoft, thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are, and as I said at the start, I wish you continued success, and hopefully we can have a catch-up maybe during the January window or when it's coming to an end.
Of course we can, and it's always a pleasure to be on. All the best, mate.
Thank you, Jan. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, cheers. Bye-bye.